Rocker Morning Show, Kalamazoo's Rock Station, 107.7 RKR. I'm Mike McKelly, and joining me, a longtime friend. We don't say old friends anymore,
Thank
Sean.
you.
We just say longtime friends, because nobody looks their age. You certainly don't.
Thank you.
It just, you're an amazing man, and, you know, women want you, men want to be like you. I know how that feels, but Sean... Thank you for your sense of humor, by the way. Sean Welsh is here with us, regional president. Oh, that's right. In the contract that was sent over, I have to play this. Here we go. All right. So he's the regional president of PNC Bank. We joke, but you were on last year, and we have a lot in common. Well, actually, we have two things in common. The third thing doesn't apply. You're very successful. I do this. Okay.
Yeah, you're pretty successful.
Well, that's all a matter of perspective. But we got together last year because obviously board just to run and the marathon and so on, and just that whole weekend that is such a great time for the whole community. And PNC Bank, obviously a huge sponsor. But when I found out that the two things that are near and dear to your heart and also reflective of what PNC Bank does is the military and kids.
Yep. I
said, I want to get this guy on the show, and I want to talk about it. And we're going to be talking a lot about the marathon and that whole weekend coming. That's the first weekend in May, correct?
Yep.
All right. I don't want to get that wrong. Sometimes at my age I forget things. But let's talk. First of all, let's talk about the salute to service, because that's something that RKR was involved with. Last year we had the military mile,
yep,
and so on and so forth. And so tell us why it's so important to you and PNC Bank, and how it translates into the run and the marathon and so forth.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to talk about it. And the military mile, just so people know, it's the last mile of the race this year.
Yeah.
And it is a time for, if you're not even running the race, to come out and applaud and cheer these people on, and you'll know who they are because they're wearing the red, white, and blue bibs with their numbers. So you'll see the runners, and the ones with the red, white, and blue bibs are the veterans. So come out that last mile of the race and cheer them on. And why is this important to PNC? I mean, we're a very large employer, and we're all about, you know, delivering the best client service, and that comes from having the best people. And as what we found is veterans are some of the best employees we have. They're committed to outcomes. They're very disciplined, and they just do things right. And so we've been recognized across the country by a number of organizations. GI Job, a magazine,
right?
That you probably know about. We've been recognized as top military-friendly employer. You know, it's something that just means something to us. It's not only the right thing to do, but it's a really smart thing to do.
Yeah, you know, we're here with Sean Welsh, regional president for PNC Bank, and we're talking about Kalamazoo Marathon and board just run, so on and so forth. And I found that over the years, the perception of the military has changed quite a bit. I'm old enough to remember the late 60s and the 70s and Vietnam and so on and so forth, and what a tragedy that was for the folks in the military who had nothing to do with the perception, and they got rolled up in that. And I'm so thankful now that I'm older, and now that I have friends who are in law enforcement, who many of whom were in the military as well. That's sort of like you know, obvious bedfellows there. How important it is that we take care of these people in any way that we can, whether it's saluting them and saying thank them for their service. You know, we've been on the honor flights, taking the World War II and the Korean guys to Washington. I don't think that we do enough, frankly, and I'm proud to know that you guys in PNC Bank are making it a point to make sure that this is up front.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, the marathon itself has created a great tradition, and PNC is thrilled to be a part of it. And it's a great community event, and there's nothing more impactful than to be, you know, thanked by the community. So we will have, I'm not sure the number of runners, but hundreds, probably thousands. If I remember that runners are thousands of runners out there. It's crazy. It is crazy. And the one thing I would encourage people, and I'll say this again, is even if you're not a runner, there's a ton of activities that are going to be going on that day. So you can come down with your family. We're going to have what we call our mobile learning adventure, which is geared towards the little kids, the 0 through 5 year olds. so they can go through and go get activities and learn activities that they can take home with the parents, and also have some fun about dressing up in costumes for jobs that they want to be when they grow up. And so when they come down and have all that fun, then when they're done with that, they can go over to the Military Mile and cheer on our veterans as they're coming home after an accomplishment of a great run.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Sean Welsh is here with us, Regional President, PNC Bank. I think the one thing that I'd like to see more this year than we have in past years is just that people who aren't running. I know it's a Sunday morning. Is it Mother's Day again? I think is it Mother? I think it might be Mother's Day again.
It's May 4th, isn't it?
May 4th.
Yeah.
And but despite that, I'd like to see the community really come down and support. I'd like to see more people. And you know, you can't tell people what to do, but it would be nice, because you got to get up early. You got to get parked early because the road's closed down. But to see this, I was describing it to somebody, and I said, think about what the difference between watching a NASCAR race on TV and going to a NASCAR race. Everybody says you can't really appreciate it until you're there. And I think the same thing holds true for when people are running. All ages, shapes, and sizes, and people cheering them on. It really, the first time I was a part of it, it was one of the most emotional times that I've ever had, because, you know, we're seeing our neighbors and our friends and relatives accomplishing something.
Yeah.
And being healthy about it too, which, you know, America has to get a little bit healthier, but that's a topic for another show. So I really encourage people to, when we get them up on the websites and stuff like that, to see what the activities are. There's an area where people eat bacon. I mean, we're going to talk about all these things, all these different stages of the race where they stop and they do different things, and gummy bears and all sorts of crazy. There's crazy things that people can be a part of. But again, I want to say thanks to you guys and PNC Bank for being there.
Well, we appreciate it, and we'll have a lot of employees out there volunteering and having fun. And like you said, I encourage the community to come down, have fun. Maybe it'll inspire you next year to run in it.
Sure.
And it's not always the full marathon. You can do shorter versions of it. But,
right. I do the run from the rocker truck to outside the rocker truck. No, one year I'm going to run.
I
keep
that
threatening.
Oxygen tent in between there.
Yes, yes. But we look forward to another great year, and look forward to the partnership with PNC Bank. Sean Welsh, everybody, and again, according to his contract, I have to play this on the way out. Regional President of PNC Bank.
Thanks a lot.
You're a cool dude. Thanks for being with us, man. Appreciate it.